All right, for this video, I guess what I want to talk about in the beginning of this video today is going to be just being able to accept taking losses. That is something that I've been working on and something that I didn't really realize was an issue until recently, honestly. And until you really sit down and you think about it, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why most people are unprofitable. And that's something that I want you to look at and see if it's something that's affecting your journey right now and how you can combat that. Honestly, like I said, once you realize that you can lose and that you can't afford to lose because your winners, it's just basic math, your winners are always going to be bigger than your losers. And as long as you're not over trading and you have a good strategy, or at least you're good at reading price where it's going to go, it's okay to take losses. And sometimes we go on tilt because of the fact that we can't accept that we took a loss on that day and we just want to get a W or end the day green. And it's just something that I'm telling you, it's not that serious. You take your however many losses you allow yourself within a day. I say for me, it is 3 losses a day. And then if I'm done, most of the time it's 2, but if I'm done, then I'm done. And if you follow that plan and just take your 2 losses per day, maybe 1 loss per day, and you come back the next day with a clear mind, and you actually are able to trade how you should be, it's just going to be better for you in the long run. And if you haven't tried it, I just suggest you try that. But that's all. And all right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now we can actually start the video. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, my name is Lewis and I'm just simply documenting my trading journey. Please make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Let me know how your trading journey is going. Leave a comment down in the description. You can also find the Discord and everything else down there. I'll talk about that once we get into the sponsor of the video and the Discord itself. But yeah, this week was just a ridiculous week, like crazy, and I'll just show you. And if you were trading futures this week, you know, especially Friday, what happened. So I'm just going to basically run you through this week and my thought process on what this week was like, and then hopefully you pick something up and you can learn from it. I don't really want to talk too much just because I know that there's a lot that I'm going to want to cover. So let's hop straight into the video. As always, my videos are going to pop up from the trades that I did take. Follow me on Instagram at LewisVisuals_ if you want to see my short form content. You could also find this short form content of these videos on YouTube here and on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok at LewisVisuals. Everything should be down in the description. But yeah, let's just hop straight into the sponsor of the video and then the Discord, and then from there we'll start the actual charting session. All right, now we are in the sponsor of this video. As you can see here, as always, we're sponsored by Tektronix PCs. If you're looking for the best quality PC in the market with the best parts available, make sure you check out Tektronix PCs and you use my discount code LVFLIP for 10% off. Right now they are working on their websites, and I was just informed by Mike that they should be up very soon. So as of right now, head down to their Instagram at Tektronix PCs and hit message them. They'll take care of everything. I will put up a video right here of when Mike from Tektronix, this dude right here, helped me out with my PC. Everything went seamless. He upgraded my actual case and some RAM, so I am just extremely thankful for him. He also then a couple months later, my CPU cooler was broken and he figured it out, got the parts in, and got everything ready for me in a couple of days, honestly. So if you need anything from Tektronix PCs, check them out and let them know that I sent you. Like I said, use my discount code and let's head into the Discord. All right, now we are in the Discord. As always, this is my free Discord community, so make sure that you head into our Discord, and the link is down in the description. We've been very active and a couple new people have entered and started to carry on with the conversation, so I appreciate you for joining in. Please don't be shy. If you're going to join the Discord, come in here and just bring good energy. Everything should play itself. Everything should be good from there. If you want to join the premium Discord and have access to all of this stuff, hit the join premium down here. I'm not doing one-on-ones as of right now, maybe at the beginning of next year, but for Q4 I want to just focus on my own trading. But like I said, thank you so much if you're already in here. If you're willing, if you want to join, the link is down in the description or in the pinned comment. It's a free Discord, like I always say, and it's available for you. Now let's head into the actual video. All right, now this is the week that we ended up having. Welcome to the actual charts. I'm going to remove my drawings really quickly just to show you the monstrosity that we had. But we had a Wednesday high to a death drop on Friday, basically Friday low. I was expecting a dump on Friday, but not that big, if I'm being honest. Obviously they framed it with Donald Trump putting the tariffs on China, 100% tariffs on China. So it is what it is. But let's just hop in there and talk about the days of the week and how everything went and how trading went. And as always, like I always say, if you want the short form content, it's on my Instagram and I will have it pop up in this video for the days that I was trading. Now let's hop straight into it. Let's talk about what ended up happening here on Monday the 6th. As we can see here on the higher time frame, it was pretty much just a retracement back up to a long, really setting up everything for the rest of the week. And honestly, if you pay attention, this is just a higher time frame accumulation on this area, honestly. But that's not what I took. I'll head down to the lower time frames now. We could talk about the trade that I ended up taking. Alrighty then, so as you can see in the morning session of AM, it was mostly bearish for the most part, leading into this long later on in the morning session, leading into lunch and everything like that. Coming in, I noticed that we had swept previous week high, also sweeping over here the -1, so I was coming in looking a little bit bearish. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what trade I took on that Monday, but let's go back and take a look. So like I said, on the 15-minute, it was pretty clear we would just go in to come back up into this fair value gap here and kind of respect it. They did disrespect it a little bit, but I was mostly bearish just because of what happened over here, and I was looking for some shorts, and I did catch a short in here. I don't think it was this big. I'll have it up here. I caught a short. I was just trying to catch a quick scalp on Monday. Wasn't trying to be in the markets for too long, but let's head to the 1 minute to break it down really quickly. So what really did it for me was the fact that there was an SMT above this high right here, and there's a nice bearish SMT there at the open. We had hit that 5-minute order block. I saw them drop down, dump. I took this opportunity of a retracement. Honestly, should have entered up here a little bit earlier, but it's okay. I waited for them to come down and close there. Once they came back up, I entered, and I was only targeting a couple points. I took 37 points just because I didn't want to be in the market too long, and I knew that once we came back to that, we would soup in this area and then come back up. So I was just like, let me just get out there, and then honestly could have held. Like you see, they came back up, but my stop would have been safe at break even either way, and then targeted the -2. They ended up coming a little bit lower later on in the session and tapped that -2.5 to then reverse fully. But like I said, I was only looking for a couple points on this day, Monday, so that is what it is. But that is about everything on Monday. Let's move forward now towards Tuesday the 7th. Now here, Tuesday the 7th, as you can see, it was just a reversal day, and I was catching shorts. I caught a very bad break even on this day, like literally 1 point away from my stop, and then from there I just started getting cooked in the chop. If you go to the lower time frames, you'll see that it was very choppy. Zoom in right here, it ended up being extremely choppy, but if I was patient enough to just wait till they came back to the rejection block on the 15-minute, it was clear. That was the first thing that I noticed too when I came into the day. I came into the market around 8:30, and I saw that they had swept this liquidity and left this rejection block, so I should have anticipated them coming back to the halfway point of the rejection block. If you see right here, very clear level entry trigger right here, and that was the entry. Would have had 0 drawdown, and you could have caught, I don't even know how many points on this day. From there down to the -2, or the new week opening gap, which was the target, 200 points. In hindsight, it's very clear, but I was taking shorts on this day. I'll put up the break even that I took as well, but I was just not patient enough to wait till they came back up into that rejection block, and that's my fault. I ended up getting cooked just because I was not able to be patient enough, and I believe I took a short like here at one point, and then it went up and took me out. So I'm not sure if it was this day that I had break even, or if it was on Wednesday. So if I don't put a video up, it's because of that. But I know I took a short for sure on this day, and then they just continued to chop, drop a little bit, come back up, and then dump. And yeah, that's basically the story of that day. I ended up losing more than I wanted to just because I kept trying to enter while we were chopping. My fault. Something I did pay attention to here, I don't even know if I should give this out, but honestly, we were already at the -2 here, so I should have expected them to retrace a little higher to then dump, because I knew they were bearish, and there was an SMT at the highs as well. With it's my fault for not being able to take it, but like I said, if you were aware enough to see that they were already at the -2 of that 1 minute manipulation leg, and knew, okay, they would have to retrace from this area, or that it was possible for them to retrace at that area, you could have just waited till they tapped the rejection block halfway point on the 15-minute, stop above this high for 10 points, and then targeted whatever you wanted. I myself honestly would have just went for about 50 points, or at least this low here in Asia, but the new week opening gap as well would have been a very good target if you were that bearish on that day. I was bearish, but like I said, I got in too early and ended up getting cooked in the chop up here when I could have just waited. If I would have just waited and been a bit more patient, it would have been a lot easier to see what they were doing and then take them short at the correct timing. But it is what it is. That is Tuesday the 7th for you. Now let's move on to Wednesday the 8th. All right, so I have to clear myself up. I'm sorry I'm getting the days mixed up and all that. It's already Saturday when I'm recording this, and this was earlier in the week. Monday I won. Tuesday I took a small loss, and then Wednesday was the day I got cooked. I lost on Wednesday because I think this is something that I want to talk to you about as well, because I do this all the time, especially when I'm on a win streak, and it's very easy to just forget or not do your routine in the morning when you come in and then end up messing up. And that's exactly what happened here on Wednesday. Had a good day Monday, was riding a win streak from last week, ended up taking a small loss on Tuesday, but I was right on direction, so I was like, that's a good day. I was just bad execution, correct idea, right? I see them drop to the new week opening gap, and I noticed this, but I ended up forgetting because I was, and the night before I was paying attention to this, but I wasn't paying attention to what was really happening, right? Then if you come in here in the morning session right before everything happens, what I tend to do is I come in and see what overnight session did and see if any PDRAs were hit that we could potentially use as support or resistance. And obviously we had to just hit the new week opening gap and hit the -2 here with a potential reversal spot. So it would be very clear for us to head for longs, excuse me. Then you bring in the idea or the fact that we had here on Tuesday taken out the low from Friday, and on NQ we hadn't taken out that low from Friday, so we have a very big SMT on the daily. Then we also have another SMT here below the low of Asia. Everything's just pointing bullish, and I was taking shorts on this day. I was waiting for price to come up into here. I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're gonna go short, and I kept taking shorts and ended up getting cooked, when in reality I knew we were gonna head up. Like after I lost, and then I was able to evaluate, and then I'm like, wait, I didn't go back and see what overnight session did until after. And then after this I was just like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. I'm waking up extremely early, and I woke up early on this day. I was just bullshitting. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be 100% genuine and honest. I woke up that day just straight up bullshitting, and it ended up costing me on that day because I didn't pay attention to what the overnight session did and formed an incorrect bias. I was thinking they were gonna come down low to this low here on Tuesday and then head up, but if I would have paid attention to ES on that same page and seen that there was already a daily SMT, I would have been bullish biased the whole time. But it's okay either way. Like I said, I was just taking shorts. If you pay attention and you wanted to take some longs, I would say for me, honestly, I would have took a long exactly at the open. This over here already had told me where we could have gone. As you see, there's a reversal point at the current high of the week. At that point, the fib over here with these levels over here is telling me we're gonna head higher. The fib over here is telling me we're gonna head higher. This fib right here is telling me we're gonna head higher. And like I said, everything I had already mentioned, it would have been just very clean to take this 15-minute fair value gap entry right here. Very small entry, and I saw it on the 1 minute, but I was so focused on trying to take shorts that it kind of just blinded me in a way. This would have been my entry, and I had a 10-point stop, 12-point, whatever. Targeted probably would have just targeted up here, being honest. Seeing that they tapped the 2, started reversing right after that, and then kept going higher. Would have left it running, and I would have caught 200 points on this day very clean and very easily just off of this reversal. But like I said, I got blinded by my own overconfidence, I guess you could say, and didn't see what happened. So I will say it again because I want you to learn from my mistakes, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. And this day I got cooked, took too many trades in the wrong direction, thinking that they were gonna drop, because I'm getting very confident in my ability. But if I'm not doing the routine, there's no point for me to be confident in that ability. And like I said, it stems from just riding that high of a win streak, and like I said, having a good day on Tuesday even though I lost. Good idea, bad execution. Wednesday I come in, don't do my morning routine, really don't do anything. I just get up and hop on the charts, see where price is. I'm like, okay, they're probably gonna drop to this low over here. Didn't notice the SMT in time, and then I'm like, man, how did I not notice that? That was way too clean. But after that I got back on what I was supposed to do, and for the rest of the week ended up very well after Wednesday. But now let's head to Thursday and Friday. This was the day that I had the crazy break even, and I'll put the video up so that you can see it. But I was mostly bearish on this day, expecting them, or at least anticipating them, to come down to this daily order block, which they did come down into, and this -4, as you can see, reversing here at the order block to then head up higher, and gave me the bullish narrative for the trade that I took on Friday, which was the setup for the manipulation, like for this big boom lower. But let's pay attention here to what I had noticed. I've noticed we have to go to the 1 minute really quickly just so that you can see. But as you can see over here at the -2 area, reversal point area, we end up respecting and start to chop, move lower at 9:30. They come up one last time and start dumping. I take a short here somewhere. I can't remember exactly. I think it was right here. I entered a little prematurely right here, and they start to drop, and right before I could get my TP, they reverse. I'll put the video up, but it doesn't look. Yeah, so I got in around here somewhere. I don't remember where exactly, but it was literally a couple points before it was 50 points, and they reversed on me. But it was very simple. Like always, the first thing that I end up doing is this here, with one of my favorite setups being this, and they ended up respecting it later on. But I see that they start to move up here at 9:31. Wait for them, and then they start dropping again. They hit the -1, start retracing. I enter thinking they were just gonna drop, but they come up a little higher and then start to dump. I had entered somewhere around here, so my entry, like I said, I have the video here so you can see the video, but I entered somewhere around here, and then I was targeting 50 points, and literally right before we got to 50 points it turned around. So it was something like this, and I had my stop above here. I got stopped out at break even literally right here, and it was a pretty brutal break even, but they just came back up to a 5-minute fair value gap that was there. It is what it is. I can't be mad at it. Then they start to like chop, and I take this here on demo later on. I was like, of course, the time that I take it on demo, they completely destroy my target, but it's okay. It happens. This was the day that I had the brutal break even, but I had the correct idea. That's all that I really care about. The break even is what it is, and yeah, that's basically it. But here it was just a turtle soup. Then I entered here on this 1 minute fair value gap, and then they continued to deliver it lower. I was paying attention mostly to this here and wanted to see if they were gonna head into this -0.5 and maybe start retracing, and that's kind of where they started to chop and retrace a little bit, but then they dropped again into this -4 like I said earlier. But yeah, this was a brutal break even. Honestly, I would have had a winning trade if I would have been a little bit more patient and waited for them to come up a little more, and then took the long up here instead of taking it over here. I think it was in this candle at 9:35 that I got in, and I could have just waited a little longer till they came up here, entered. But sometimes I'd be like, oh, they could just dump, and yeah, they didn't decide to dump that day, but it's my fault. It's okay. Could have took profits too. I think that is a little greedy of me either way, but yeah, that was just the day. And like I said, this was a demo trade, and I sent it in the group chat in the Discord. So that's usually what I do. If I take a loss or take my losses or break evens like this and I hop into demo, I usually send it with the idea and everything for the free Discord. So make sure you join the free Discord. But now let's move on to the best setup of the week, which was here on Friday the 10th. Seeing that we had tapped the daily order block right here, I knew that we were bullish. I had the idea that we were going to end up being bullish, and as you can see with this standard deviation, I had an idea as well that we could end up dumping, and I used this standard deviation to catch this level here, and I actually entered in the pre-market. Once I get to the lower time frames, you'll see why I took the long, but we were below the open at the moment. I was a little bit more bullish. I was anticipating them to come up here and tap this, at least this rejection block here, and that's exactly what they tapped into inside of this reversal area that I already had. So that's kind of why I was like, okay, there's potential for a reversal, so let me just get out at the Asia high. And Trump was supposed to, I think there was some type of news, I don't think it was Trump, but Trump sent out that tweet, and that's why it dumped over 1,000 points in one day, literally 1,200 points in one day, just from that tweet about the tariffs. And it's kind of crazy because 100% tariffs is ridiculous, but he knows what he's doing. Either way, I don't really care too much about it because I am trusting my analysis, and I can make money on the market going up or down, so it doesn't really matter. I think it's good. It's a good thing because it takes us away from all-time highs. We're no longer at all-time highs, so we can have very nice price action coming back up. And like I always say, I think they had this move down premeditated, and they just used tariffs as the excuse to drop the price lower. But that's besides the point. Let's head into the lower time frames and talk about why I decided to take the long where I did. And it was very clean. Like, this was extremely clean, and that's why I hopped in the pre-market, just because of how clean it was. As you can see here, I took the last 1 minute manipulation like here, and it gave me this area, right? right? So right before we came in, I came in around here somewhere. I'm like, oh, they could start going up. Then I see them turtle swoop and set a 1 minute SMT. After I see the SMT, they start to pump, and I'm like, I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer and see what happens, right? Usually at the negative 0.5, whether it's bullish or bearish, they have a retracement back down. What do I see here? We have a 1 minute order block, a breaker, a fair value gap. It's basically a unicorn model on the 1 minute, right? I entered at the order block, had my stop originally below this low, then I moved it once they started to pump, but it was just so fast. They just opened, pumped up, and then went straight to my target, and that's one of the best days. I think I should have held into the 4, but it's fine. I wasn't trying to be greedy, and I knew that they were going to end up reversing around that rejection block, and with this standard deviation up here, I could have just got out here at the 4, but it is what it is. I caught 54 points and called it a day on that way before all the nonsense ended up happening here. And as you can see, I was in this trade, maybe I got in as soon as we tapped, so I got in at like 9:22 and I was fully out by 9:37. So that quick of a day, I'm not gonna be mad at it, but that was the idea on why I thought they were gonna pump up. And then I got off the charts, and then I saw the tweet pop up because I have his notifications on, and literally just 1,000-point drop on that TGIF Friday. But it is what it is. But that's basically everything that happened this week. If you learned something or if you found that insightful, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Share with a friend who is also on their trading journey. Follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. All that is down in the description. Make sure you join the Discord. Link is down in the description as well. Make sure you check out Tektronics. Use my discount code LVFLIP for 10% off. That's pretty much everything that I really have to say. I had a very nice week. I am going to continue to get better in trading, and I'll keep the journey going with y'all. Make sure that you join the Discord, like I said, and be active in it. And I hope y'all have a great week. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.